Okay. So, what year were you born?
I was born in 1984.
Okay. And were you born in Taiwan?
Yeah, I was born in Taiwan.
Okay. And if you can, what is the earliest memory that you have of your childhood?
I have a couple. I think the earliest one is probably when I was was a baby. So I remember being in my nanny's house. I was in the what's that called? Crash. The baby bed, and the nanny was lives right next to us in a flat, and she's a I think middle-aged woman, and she was cooking in the kitchen, and I was just in the bed, and I think there was telly going on, but I couldn't really see anything. That was the earliest thing. And I have some memory when I was in the nursery. I remember when I was in nursery, this one day the teacher was talking about the news, and then she mentioned about Iraq going into, how do you pronounce that? Kuwait. Yeah, Kuwait. And the teacher even cried because there was a war going on. Yeah, and there was also like field trip days where we were taken into the field where they were growing vegetables, and teacher just took us there so everyone can. The tasks on the day was everyone has to grab a worm and put it in a bag. Yeah. So those were the childhood memories.
Did your parents have any values that they instilled on you?
Yeah. My dad was quite a very family centered person. So he doesn't tell us that, but he told us that by doing so, like he's very generous to family, so he would do anything for the family. But he also is a very cautious person, so he kind of teach me to do not fully believe anyone. Yeah. And for my mom, it's more about like how to be a person, and also how to be a lady. So she teaches us to be brave, be myself, and she has a lot of pressures from the in-laws family, but she just kind of ignore them, and she bear all the pressures and hide those pressures from us. If you read about the sort of Asian family system, there's a lot of anti-lady roles. Yeah, so my mom was not the most favorite daughter-in-law because she has 3 daughters. She doesn't have any sons and that kind of things. But just how she's just being herself, and that's just kind of taught us how to survive in the world. And also, she also keep telling us that for being a lady, it's very important to be financially independent. And so she put in a lot of efforts on our education to make sure that we have that ability to do so. Yeah.
Great. And what kind of conversations did your family have around the dinner table?
To be honest, when we grow up, we don't always. It was a bit of a weird childhood. So we are either my dad was watching the news, because that's just when the news is on, similar to the dinner time, or we'll be eating at my grandma's place, and therefore all the kids are watching city film from Hong Kong, or while all the adults are either watching the news or a baseball game. So it was very, very recently, within the last 10 years after we grow up, that we actually really have discussions over dinner table. We mostly have conversation in the car drives because it probably will link to the latest question. So we go to a lot of the after school classes, and there's a lot of driving. So we do the most talking in the driving. And the kind of conversation could be anything really. So it will be around either my dad talking about his job, or my mom gossiping about her colleagues, or we'll be talking about our school lives. Yeah.
Okay. And what language did you speak at home?
So we speak half and half Taiwanese and Mandarin.
Okay. And what was your relationship with your mother and father like?
It changed after I grew up. So I think my dad is more, it's sort of 50-50 democratic and authoritarian. But and with my mom, I think she's trying to be like she's trying to discipline us, but she's kind of she's a very chill person, so she sometimes just can't be bothered. But I think after we grew up, they are more like friends, just giving us help when we need to, and give us some advice when we need to, and we also help them out on some of the things like technology and such. My mom is more like sort of spiritual. Don't know if that's the right word. So she's like deal with the emotions and that kind of stuff. When we have, for example, when we broke up with someone, or we didn't achieve what we wanted at work, she'll be the kind of person kind of guide us through the hardship. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite food?
Yeah. I like seafood. We have a lot of seafood at home because my mom's side of family is from Tonghu. It's a group of islands outside of the main island, and there's just the kind of diet is very seafood centered.
Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I have two sisters. They're all younger than me.
So you're the oldest?
Yes.
And what role did your siblings play, like, growing up?
So, one of the sisters is 2 years younger than me. Another one is 13 years younger. So the closer one, the one that's just 2 years younger than me, we're like very close friends. She's the closest friend to me. But for the younger one, because she's 13 years younger than me, so I was like half of her mother. So she's a bit like my half daughter. Yeah.
I also have an older sister.
Have you?
Yeah, she's 3 years older than me.
Okay.
We're very close.
Yeah. I think systems are nice.
What kind of education did you get in Taiwan?
When you say what kind, what do you mean?
So just sort of what was your education like? You mentioned you have the after school classes.
Yeah, so I went to public schools, and yeah, so it's nothing too special. Yeah.
What was school life like?
So yeah, so extending on the previous question, I went to public school, but at the time when I'm attending school, we have special classes. So we take an exam at 7 years old and 11 years old before we enter into. Oh no, at 7 years old and 12 years old, and then you can decide to go into a special class in a school, where they have just like 30 students in the class, and they'll give you special kind of education. Just in general, they just give you whatever curriculum that's harder than the usual ones. Yeah, and then they also, it's more academic focused, and they get you prepared for basically the purpose of the class. Just setting up that class is just getting everyone prepared to go to the best high school and then go to the best uni in Taiwan. And so there's a lot of after school classes, learning, I don't know, maths, science, English, that kind of things.
Okay. And what was a normal day for you, like aged 10 to 15?
So we started to attend secondary school from the age of 12, and we would need to be at the school like around 7, and then there will be like cleaning up the classroom for some time, and then start maybe a little quiz before the class start at 8 o'clock, and then you have lunch at 12, and then finish the school at also normal people would finish the school at something like 4:45, but then we have a special session where we have to stay till 6. It just basically the teacher will keep us there, either give us an exam or just have to study. Then after 6, my mom will pick us up and take us to an after school class, and probably get home at 9 o'clock.
What were some of your favorite places to be as a child?
I quite like the kind of Taiwanese old traditional corner shops. We call them gamadiao. They just sell like little snacks, eggs, milk, newspapers, because they have a lot of like traditional snacks. You can buy it with just like I think the equivalent of like two pence. Yeah, and I also really like the stationery shops. I think when I was 7, it was a trend of trading stickers. You'll have a sticker books with a lot of different stickers, and then you can then trade your stickers by you swap the book with your friends, and then you each other's stickers, and then you say, oh, I want this one, and they pick one they want from yours, and then you could just decide whether you're happy with that swap. And sometimes your sticker is bigger or more fancier, maybe it's from Japan. You will say, but I would require 2 stickers from yours to swap for my expensive one. Yeah, so stationery shops is where you can get your stickers from to trade.
Could you tell me a little about your friends? So what was it like playing with them?
So, how I don't know how to describe them. I think they're just pretty similar to me. And when I met them, I was 12, and so we didn't really have a lot of chance to play, but we sometimes go out to just to do some shopping together, clothes shopping together, or go for a coffee or something like that.
Do you still keep in touch with them?
Yeah, I do. Every time I visit Taiwan, I always make sure I have a slot that I can spend time with them.
When were you growing up? What sort of life did you imagine for yourself? Like, what was your ideal dream job or dream family?
In terms of dream jobs, I always pretend when we play the pretend games. We always play this game with my sister where we are kind of a whole purpose person, but I think it's kind of hard to describe. It's a kind of person that can deal with any task in the company. It's like a superwoman in the company. But I think in today's language, I think it's probably a project manager.
Mm. When you remember your childhood in Taiwan, what sort of feelings and words come to mind?
It's, I don't know, it's it looks I don't know, it's very hard to explain, but I would want my daughter to experience that if possible, because I think it's very different. It's very different, and I also have different experiences in Taiwan, because my dad is from countryside, but I grew up in the city. I think before I turned something like 8, before all the after school classes going crazy, we do visit them every weekend. So I'm just like maybe 25% of a countryside kids, but 75% of a city girl. And yeah, so it's very hard to say. It's neither like or dislike, but it's just an experience. And I think having or exposed to different kind of experience is a good thing to me.
And finally, if you could tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
I would say just to chill out a bit and still try hard, but pursue the dreams. Yeah.
That's good. And that's all the questions that I have today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.